welcome to another actual play with Just More Fix. This is James. With me in this actual play is Taffy, Holly, Carrie, and Lacey.
Hey.
You can find us online at justomorefix.com or on Twitter at justomorefix. If you like us, you can support us at Patreon, and you can give us a rating and review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you find us at. In this episode, we're going to keep playing Night Witches. And now, it's time to get our gaming fix. You're about to listen to episode 4 of our Night Witches series. There are some mature themes in these episodes, so you've been warned. This episode begins with our second actual gaming session, so there's a brief review at the beginning for us. If you're not interested in that, you can skip ahead to about 12 minutes, 30 seconds. That's the tail end of it, and then we get into the actual play from there. So without any further ado, here is Night Witches. Welcome to another actual play with Just More Fix. This is the start of session 2. For our actual play of Night Witches. So we are going to review what happened in the last, what turned out to be 3 episodes, but last play session. So you guys completed your training.
Like a boss.
And we got to meet our hero, Marina.
Your
hero.
She's all of our heroes. She is like a hero of all of Russia.
That's true.
So you guys completed your
She's the woman hero for the
initial training at Ingalls Aerodrome. And I realize some listeners out there pointed out that I'm saying Ingalls wrong, but it's because Ingle, to me...
Engels.
Huh?
Is it Engels?
I'm not sure. He helped Karl Marx write the Communist Manifesto, apparently, and he's a communist...
As it turns out, when you tell someone in writing that they're mispronouncing Ingalls, it's not really helpful.
No. But either way, well, Engel is angel in German, so that's why I said Ingalls. That's just what I assumed it was, and didn't make much sense that it would be a German word as a Russian aerodrome. But we mentioned before that there's going to be some terrible pronunciations of some Russian words because, well, my Russian isn't so good.
We lost one of our people.
She's not dead, though, is she?
Okay, hang on.
Well,
Okay, so we're just going to go around the table, and you guys can introduce your characters, and then we will do a brief recap to get everybody back up to speed as we get things started. So, who wants to start?
so I am the Sparrow, Junior Lieutenant Yulia Salenkova, and I have been leading our merry band of ladies in our missions thus far.
You said you're a junior lieutenant, right?
Yes, it's Junior Lieutenant.
And you are the squadron leader, correct?
Yes.
And what's your squadron?
Our squadron is Squadron 3, and we are Section C.
Alrighty, so that's Yulia.
Yulia.
I'm the Raven. I'm Sergeant Vera, just Vera, thanks, Gromova. I have been following our squadron really well, I think. Didn't do anything.
Very good. And you are a university student that joined the...
Yes,
Red
I was
Army.
a university student. I still write to one of my professors. My parents still don't know that I'm here, which is not good because they would be very disappointed or proud.
Or both or neither. Right on.
This is Galina. Galia Lyubashchev.
Yubashevskaya is what I'm going to say.
Lyubashevskaya. That works. I'm the pigeon, and I'm pretty expressive. I have a lot of passion. I still keep in contact with my sister, but here to take down the enemy and fight for my country.
Right on. And finally...
I am Sergeant Darya Dasha Yegovora. I left Moscow behind, and my grandfather is still there. I came to fight on the front after we were so rudely attacked early in the morning without any declaration of war. And so my grandfather is still at home, and I'm fighting to liberate our country from the Germans, and I am the owl.
Very good. So, what were some of the high points that you guys remember from the last session? That could be both for the group or you individually.
Do you mean like memorable moments or actual high points as opposed to low points?
Both.
Okay.
I think I got a pretty good pep talk from, was it Senior Lieutenant Petrova?
Yes.
That's who it was? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
that
she was your
pretty
guys'
awesome.
training officer, the officer who was in charge of your guys' training.
Yeah, so that was pretty inspiring. Kind of lifted my spirits since I screwed up some stuff.
Right. And what was it that you screwed up? It was the...
Didn't drop the bomb on time,
Right.
so missed the payload. Yeah.
In front of the...
In front
Entire
of
male.
all of the male people watching.
Yeah, you had a fighter escort.
Ah,
with
yeah,
you.
the escort.
Yes.
Yeah, that was not awesome.
Right on.
I stole a bottle of liquor from the men's camp
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Right on.
and told a junior private gentleman where he could stick it.
Was that Sergeant Yuri? Is that right?
Yes, it was.
Alrighty.
I gained confidence in my role as a navigator because in our training missions, my navigation skills were on point, and I also kind of let Galia know that it was okay, that it was training, and we would all learn to work together.
Right on.
And so we all kind of bonded and became friends.
We all got drunk.
Yes.
That was fun.
and we drank and smoked some cigarettes,
Right on.
like we do.
So, like in all training missions, began to kind of coalesce together as,
Yes.
a working.
Unit of trust and
Right.
bonding. And
I got to fly with my hero, Mariana Raskova, and I feel like it's going to happen again. And then we also had that really cool mission towards the end where we went back and bombed again. Even though it was probably not the best idea, it was very successful.
It was.
Oh, that's right. So, yeah, you risked peril and death again to go
I
back.
took a mark.
That's right. Okay.
Couple. of them.
And in order to make it so that Galia was able to fly with her, not Galia, sorry,
Marina
Vera.
Raskova.
Vera was able to fly with her hero, I made the decision to send another one of our pilots elsewhere, and as a result, she crashed and burned,
Right. And that
which
was
is what I remember from that mission.
And that was Katya.
No,
Katya.
the next mission was really successful. Then the one before it was the one we got to fly with our hero,
No, the one where she was in your plane instead of Katya.
which was successful. But then the mission after that, we did 2 trips. We bombed the area twice.
No, but Katya's plane got downed because we sent her with another unit.
Yeah, that was second mission. But third mission, we
Yeah.
went around twice.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So something important that I noticed that I think would very clearly come to the attention of all three of you, which I don't think we realized in the moment during the playing, was that after the reports made it to you guys that Katya's plane had a hard landing and crashed and burned, the three of you, Yulia, Galia, and Dasha, immediately went to the infirmary to check on her to make sure that she was okay, because you heard that she had been burned and was banged up and injured and may not make it. Your 3 immediate responses were, let's go check on her and make sure she's okay. And Vera's immediate response was, there's an empty seat that's going to be in one of the planes, which means I can go find Marina and see if she'll fly with me again. So as the 3 of you rushed to the infirmary, I'm not sure that we caught it in the moment, but it will be painfully aware that you guys were missing.
I went to the
One of your
infirmary after I
comrades.
found out she wasn't there anymore. I was there.
Right, but you all 3 started off together and then rushed off to go to the infirmary to check on her, and she wasn't there. So this is your second duty station.
Trude Gornyaka.
Trude Gornyaka. Correct. Between duty stations, you guys need to look at your role and see if you...
What's a duty station?
So the first duty station was your training missions that you guys just did?
It's like an actual different location.
Yeah, and so now we're going to Trud Gornyaka next. So under your roles, you look... Under Protector, it says, when you change duty stations, advance if you save someone's life. So just look at whatever your role is, and if you did that particular thing, then you get to choose in advance. Does that make sense? So, Lacey, you're a misanthrope, right?
I am. I feel like I satisfied my
Okay,
role
so
pretty well.
you buck against the boys' club. I would agree with that. So you can choose an advancement.
Whoop whoop.
Carrie, what's your...
Mine was adventure, and I did not walk away from a wrecked aircraft.
Okay.
Do we change those now?
You can change them between duty stations if you want to, yes. So there's a time passes between duty stations. So between your training mission, it'll be a couple months will have gone by. So, Holly, what did you have?
I had Protector.
Protector?
So I didn't save anybody.
Okay. And Taffy, what did you have?
Dreamer. I can weather an informal interview well. When you change duty stations, advance if you shared a premonition and it came true. I did that.
I think so. I can't remember.
No, I don't think so.
Can I switch to leader?
Yeah, so in between duty stations, if you guys want to change your role, you can. It's just sort of like time between duty stations and the trials of war and all this kind of stuff. Your personality sort of changes as time goes by. So if you want to change your role,
That might conflict, though.
you can figure out what you want to you can pick a different one if you want. Also, just keep in mind
What are those?
that you what that thing is to try and, if you want to try and advance, to try and find a way to work that in. If that makes sense.
Yep. So do we erase that and then...
Yeah, so if you're going to change it, you're going to erase what you had and then put in the new one.
I'll keep mine at adventure. Because I feel like we didn't do it last time, but it could happen this time, and I'd rather that than have someone under my direct command die.
Yeah, that's what leader is. If someone under your direct command dies, you advance.
That sounds...
I mean, we did it last time.
Well, that sounds bad.
She didn't die.
I want somebody to die.
Yeah.
And she wasn't under our command.
Yeah, not then. I guess you could make an argument kind of either way, but yeah.
I
She
would
didn't
argue
die.
for the advancement.
I don't think so. She didn't die, though.
No,
No,
they sent
no.
her home.
No.
Oh, they did.
Well, I think when we left off, she was in the
still in the-
infirmary,
yeah,
and they
getting-
said that she would never fly again. But
They're
they,
probably going to send her home.
yeah. So, but they, we'd sort of left it at that.
Well, not necessarily. Maybe she could be a mechanic or something. There's other stuff she can do to fight the war.
So, Vera, did you change your role?
No, I left it at adventure.
Okay. And Galia,
I changed to adventure.
adventurer, right on. And Dasha.
I changed mine to protector. I can repair well, and when I change duty stations, I can advance if I saved someone's life.
Very good. And Yulia, did you change yours?
I'm gonna take leader.
That sounds terrible. I hope it's Olya.
Well,
not
you
one of
can
us.
lead an attack run.
Yep. Also, I chose for my advancement to the deepening ties, and I'm going to put that
Vera.
I envy Vera the most because she really stood out as a good pilot in our last training missions. And while I was leading, I didn't really do anything exceptional, and I
Okay.
definitely didn't put myself in the plane with Maria. So
All right. So it sounds like you are coming to this new duty station pretty motivated to set yourself apart.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
yeah,
Very good.
Well, I respect you the most.
Wah, wah, wah.
it's funny how life works.
The plot thickens, right? Alrighty. You guys are going to be shipped off to Trud Gornyaka. So, in terms of what happens between the end of your training missions and this 2 months is kind of open. As we move through the story goes along, if you guys want to have, you kind of, unless it breaks the story, you kind of have free reign to say whatever it was that has happened to you or as a group or you as an individual, letters from home or whatever. So at this point, I'm going to give this to you, Squadron Leader, and just start at the top of there.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
2 months have passed. The 588th has relocated to a remote field in the middle of nowhere, within striking distance of active combat zones on 3 sides. The thunder of artillery is constant. The badly battered Red Army is in retreat. Communication and supplies are erratic. It's time to earn first blood in the Don River Basin. Logistics overview. Everything is chaos and the supply chain is seriously fractured. New recruits can't even find the regiment, much less parts and consumables. Occasionally, aircraft need to be dispatched to distant warehouses by day to bring back food. -1 to ongoing for Scrooge.
Kind of the same thing almost.
-1 ongoing for scrounge and repair at Trudgornyaka. Find it and fix it yourself. Welcome to the war.
Which officer of the 588th was in no condition to fly when the regiment arrived at Trud Gornyaka?
Well, that's easy.
I feel like that's obviously Katya.
So are you saying that she is definitely going to be here then?
I guess we are.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What is being done to keep the livestock off the runway, and why isn't it working? First off, let's establish what kind of livestock are they?
Probably goats.
Goats sounds good. Runway goats.
I don't want to do turkeys, though.
There
'cause they
were
fly around.
there were wire fences put up, and they keep trying to eat them.
Yeah, well, and goats are just like unstoppable.
Yeah.
You keep building fences, those motherfuckers just
Rocky
keep on
Train, they
getting
don't
over
care.
it.
They are escape artists then. So are they wild goats or are they domesticated goats?
No, they're like mountain goats.
I
Yeah.
was going to say they're domestic.
No,
Probably like
where's
half
the
and
fun in
half.
that? They're escaped. They used to be
wouldn't be
domesticated, but since the
livestock.
war began, the farmers have all died. Now they're out roaming about.
So it used to be livestock.
Amok.
Yes, runaway livestock.
Okay, very good. So they've been free for quite a while, and then people have tried to herd them back in, and that's
Feral goats.
yeah, they don't want to stay penned up. So we have wild runaway goats. Very good. Who gave the German FW-190 pilot, seemingly obsessed with your regiment, the nickname Yellowtail?
I feel like you would be the one, like,
That was me.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Your reasoning?
What did you do?
Oh, my reasoning? Well, the tail on the plane is yellow, but mostly because that's the only part of him I ever see because he's always running.
Nice. Coward. Double entendre. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd you give that nickname to?
So there is a Luftwaffe German pilot. He
Who's
flies an
obsessed with
FW-190 that seems to be obsessed with your regiment, and you guys have and Vera has nicknamed him Yellowtail. What does the Ryfield used as an air base at Trudgornyaka look like?
It's absolutely beautiful.
It's muddy.
And absolutely beautiful.
The rye field is beautiful, but the actual part where you're like, because the goats keep coming in and eating it, and
But like when the bombs aren't dropping and the sun is hitting it just right, you could almost believe that there's no war happening because it's just this like field.
you must be an optimist.
This majestic field.
This is muddy.
There are parts of it we haven't destroyed.
Alrighty.
When the
Where-
goats are
Moscow's got
standing in the right
stone.
light, all majestic looking.
The wild, majestic coats.
When the wind blows through their coat. Where is the runway lined with hay bales? So, like, where is the runway? It's also lined with hay bales to light them on fire when damaged planes are trying to come back to be able to help them find our base.
With hay bales on both sides?
But like there's extra hay bales over here because the ground isn't level and they light them on fire for us to see, but they're also hoping it will absorb some of the water so that the runway doesn't get washed out.
Doesn't get too
And
soggy.
then there's the goats that get hungry.
And then they come and eat the hay.
It's a good thing it keeps them mostly off the runway. Sometimes, because
Right
they're
on.
eating the hay.
Where are the leaky plywood covered dugouts that serve as barracks?
Oh.
Yeah,
Probably up on the higher point of the land. So if it rains, it's going to not be
Drainage.
stuck in our...
very good. That's a good idea right there.
So they're like, since the drainage is all like down here, this is
Successfully
muddy.
saved yourself some
The
misery.
higher part, yeah,
Yeah,
is
like
up
up
there.
here.
Mm-hmm.
So we can stay slightly dry.
Very good.
Are there two, one for the men and one for the women?
Yes, there will always be, unless we specify, there will always be separate barracks for men and women.
Obviously, they're right next to each other because that's the most strategic layout.
Is ours
So
slightly
they-
higher than theirs?
Like fences. Oh, yeah, that's probably not right. Sorry.
So your guys' barracks are actually next to one another, the men and women?
Yeah.
That's the only place they could put them.
That's fine. No.
because it was
Right.
up on a hill.
Right, yeah,
so
no. It makes sense. So that will actually be something abnormal because at the where you guys
Training
did your
base.
training at,
It was completely opposite.
they were pretty far
away.
apart to try and
Yeah.
keep you guys segregated. But it makes sense with drainage and whatnot. You know.
They built a makeshift wall up between the sets of barracks.
Okay. With goats. So what's the wall made of?
I think they're like wood
Hay bales.
Hay bales and plywood.
bales and plywood,
Yeah,
right?
so they put plywood in between, or
Clearly,
on either
there's
side of.
a surplus of hay bales and plywood right now.
Yes,
Absolutely.
So
Well, you also have to have a place to store the ones that you replace the burned ones with. So
Yeah.
Yep.
that makes sense. All right. Where is the actual village and the edge of the thick forest? So there is a village. The village of Trudgornyaka is somewhere near you guys. So where is it at? And there is a very thick forest that is here as well.
I would say on the other side of the runway in our barracks.
Over here.
Yeah.
and the forest is probably actually mostly surrounding us on three sides. That way, we are kind of hidden.
All right. So where is the village? Okay. So the village is through the forest. Okay. Very good.
It was like thinner over here.
Yeah,
Like
right.
between like Sebastian's.
I understand. I got you. I'm on the
And you
level.
said there's forest by us too?
Yeah, I think that would be good if we made our an area in like a
Like here too.
kind of like surrounded by us on three sides. Obviously, not where we want to like fly, like take off and land the planes because that would make it too hard. But this way, we're slightly hidden from
Secluded a
overview.
little bit. Yeah.
So if they bomb the runway, we at least have a safe distance to...
Yeah, to run
Protect
into the
ourselves.
trees.
You're not drawing the trees.
You could just do little
All right.
triangles.
And the final
That's
question.
basically what's happening here.
The final question is, what is the one place that is not drenched in mud?
The beginning of the runway.
Okay.
I would
like-
say
like the first-
I would
and then it
say
gets a
under
little
our
mucky,
barracks
Well,
Yeah.
I think the
because we're up on the hill. So it's
No,
not
listen, if
drenched
you
in
have to
mud.
pick between comfortable sleeping quarters and a good runway,
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
That
okay.
makes sense.
All right. So just make a note of at the beginning of that runway there. That very good. And now, do you want to go ahead and read the theater overview?
Duty Station 2. The summer weather is good for flying, and the fascist scum have not quite learned how to counter harassment bombing. The biggest dangers come from an inexperienced crews and your own primitive airfield, which is made of split logs, mud, and hay bales that line the runway and are set on fire to guide damaged planes home. Circumstances are not ideal. Theater overview. The tactical area encompasses the western gateway to the Caucasus, consisting of birch forests, marshes, and fertile agricultural lands. Most of these have been abandoned, and cultivated fields make useful landmarks from the air. A major southeast-northwest rail line from Donetsk through Luhansk to Starobilsk is also a key strategic feature and navigational reference, as is the Donets River just north of Trudkornyaka. Navigators look for structures around the Bryanka coal mines and long fire breaks in the forests. Note that a skilled pilot can put a PO2 down in one of these fire breaks in an emergency.
So do you guys know what a fire break is? So if you have these large swaths of forest, right? So a fire break is they cut trees and stuff out, so there's a gap. So if the forest catches on fire, it won't just rage all the way across. It's a gap ideally to where the fire will burn to that spot and then burn itself out, and it can't catch the next set of forest on fire. So those are areas where ideally, if you're a good pilot, you could land your plane there if you couldn't make it back to the actual airfield.
So in case of an emergency, your plane's going down, you find one of those and you put wheels down.
I mean, it's better to land in that than it is to crash it into the forest. So.
And screw up the plane and lose
Both sides on
everything.
fire.
Yeah. Okay, so do you guys have a kind of a clear picture of what's going on here? Okay, so I think that we will start with the day cycle. I guess it only makes sense as you guys arrive here. So it's been a couple months. So I guess my first question is, have there been any significant events that has happened to you guys as an individual over the past couple months?
I would say that probably our bond as a unit would have been, we would have bonded together since we trained together. I would say
agree.
that
makes
had
sense. So
strengthened.
you guys have
A
kind
lot
of
stronger
So let me ask you this
as a
then,
unit.
to just clarify a little bit. If you guys are bonding together and getting closer, are you guys bonding so much so that your section is kind of not like ostracizing the rest of the regiment, but like cliquish is the wrong word, but do you know what I'm saying? Like we're
Yeah. We have a really tight bond with the four of us, but not like we're like rude to everyone
Right.
else, but we clearly like if
Prefer
one
the
of us
company
is
of-
on fire and somebody else, I mean, we're probably going
Right.
to save one of us
Okay,
first.
so
I don't know though, because
She's going to let you go down in flames.
She may be the one
I
that
might
lets us-
still be talking to the other groups and not really realizing what's happening with the whole clicky situation.
okay, very good.
I'm very much in love with these girls. They got my back, but it doesn't mean that I'm not like talking to other people trying
Right.
to figure out who's a good pilot. And I might not even realize that the other companies are like ostracizing this group, and
Well,
maybe even me.
I'm not saying that they have to be. I'm asking you because you know how things can be when
Yeah.
like you guys are really have to depend on one another, and sometimes that makes you guys withdraw into your own group
Yeah.
to the exclusion of everyone else. You know what I'm saying? So
But I think in the regiment in general, like we're the 588, I think that at any given time in that group, you would have to get into a plane with
Multiple.
any
yeah,
number of different people.
The potential exists if someone is sick or something happens that you may have to go get into another plane. But you guys will always feel. What I'm kind of sensing is that you guys will always feel more comfortable with each other.
Sure.
Oh,
as
yeah.
opposed to-
There's a definite friendship where
right.
as
So-
opposed to like a working relationship, I guess.
Yeah, so just in like regular social situations, we probably tend to gravitate more towards each other than
Okay.
everyone else.
Very
But,
good.
you know, we don't flat
So-
out refuse to hang out with other people.
Yeah. Okay, so Sonia was in your got assigned to your section as well, right? It was Sonia and
Olya.
Olia. Okay, so are they included in that
Yeah.
kind of close knit bond?
Yeah.
Very good.
I've been writing a lot.
Back to your professor,
Yeah,
and his name was.
Boris.
Did we establish what he was a professor of?
Yeah, religion in Moscow.
Theology.
That's not going to go so well
That's
when
much
the
more
communist.
professory.
He may be in some hot water in one someday.
He might quit writing me back. I don't know.
Right on.
I have a letter written to somebody else, but I haven't sent it.
Okay.
When
Who
we
is it?
left
Who is it to?
My hero.
Oh, to Marina.
Yeah, but I haven't sent it
Okay.
because I'm not worthy.
Very good.
When we left for duty station 2, I promised to write Sergeant Yuri.
Ah, okay.
Ooh. Thanks for
Did you
the
write Sergeant
alcohol.
Yuri?
Well, not yet. We just got here.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
Over those 2 months, I know the Tiberit, the plane that I fly in most. I know that inside and out. I've
Really
worked on,
gone through it.
yeah, taken stuff apart and put back together with people, and like just really made sure like I know what's up, what's going where, and
Now you have a, what's it called?
Peg leg.
No. Almost. You have regard with that plane, right?
yes,
Okay. What is your regard with that plane?
trust.
All right. So you guys arrive here by plane, and you guys have been here what, a week, couple weeks? So enough.
Getting everything set up
Yeah, enough to get settled in. Okay.
because we have to do that too, right? Like help everything get set up when we move encampments.
Yeah. Generally, sometimes just depends on when you arrive and that kind of stuff.
Stacking the hay bales, herding the goats.
I also
like home.
need you guys to draw the aircraft hangar on there as well
I bet you it would probably be pretty close to
Next to
the.
the
to the airfield.
yeah,
Yeah,
These trees in here.
right next to it.
How about right here where the gate is?
Oh, perfect. Oh, lovely.
Okay, very good. Are any of your planes in your squadron damaged?
Which, oh no, Cat, you was flying one and a different one. How dare you?
Two of them.
Not
Okay.
Suka.
No, so
Suka.
it will be repaired for when you arrive here.
Oh, it really is.
It gets repaired. Yeah.
Wow.
So it is ready to
What
fly.
happened because of our double take?
That's
Yeah.
right.
I have just to go back to what we've been doing in the meantime. I changed my role to protector, and I can repair well. So on the trip, I've been given a set of schematics
Okay.
that I managed to convince someone to give me, and I've been studying those so that I'm familiar with the planes.
Right on. So we'll say that you're not your whatever the Russian equivalent of MOS, like your actual job is still pilot, but you spent a lot of time with one of the mechanics, and they trust you and know that you have kind of learned your way around the plane a little bit. Which plane is that? Which plane was the one that was
Oh,
damaged?
sorry, Suka.
Suka, that's not the one that you have regard for, though, right?
No, mine
Okay.
is Tiburon.
Okay, cool. Very good. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce a new person that you will. So how about we go with Nina will be the mechanic. The kind of you initially helped, but then she kind of showed you the ins and outs and some of the particulars of this plane. And she's obviously part of your guys' regiment, but she's a mechanic. Okay, so you guys are here and have been here for a little while, gotten things established. You know your way around the base, all that kind of stuff, and you know it's about to that point where it's time to start flying missions again.
Is there like a hole in that little wall? Like somebody made like a makeshift doohickey going on there? Bed in the wall between male and female on those hay beds?
I feel like there should be like a secret hidey hole that everybody knows. Like you can put notes in this one area if you want to send them across. Like,
Okay, so like there's a couple of hay bales that have a
like-
little bit of a gap, right? You know, and you can kind of, yeah.
And like you can slide two of the like boards open a little bit.
Okay, so because it's going to be, you're out of training and things will be a little bit more formal in terms of the way the military structure works. If you have problems, these are the people that you'll be going to because they're your immediate superiors, right? So it's like you guys are to her and then she is to them. Does that make sense? So in terms of personality, how are these two?
well, I mean, they're fighter pilots that have risen through the ranks, so I imagine there's some pretty hard ass bitches.
Okay, so they are both tough as nails.
Yes.
All right. Are they fair? Are they
I think the squadron leader, Natasha, is pretty fair, but Sasha kind of plays favorites a little bit.
okay? And what are her favorites based off of?
Who makes her look better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is the prettiest?
No, I don't mean looks like looks. I mean like you did something and made me look good.
Okay, very good. I like it. So you guys are hanging around, enjoying some easier time because you're not flying night missions and up all night and go, 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 go. You guys are at your barracks. I think it sounds like it makes sense that it would, with all the mud, it's one of those rainy, crappy spring days where it's mostly gray. There's almost no difference between daytime, and evening time, nighttime, because of that just awful grayness that happens. It's not really raining. It's more has that, it's like it would be better if it rained. It has that, just like
Misting?
that moist, misty nastiness that if you walk outside, you come inside, you're wet somehow, but it's not actually raining. It's just absolutely miserable. It's also spring, so I think it's a little bit chilly. It's not warm enough to, not have a coat on, but it's cold enough, or it's that crappy in-between point of spring, I guess is what I'm getting to. And
All our coats are just a little too long because they're men's coats.
Yeah.
They're too big in the shoulders by a whole size.
Itchy and wet and never quite get dry. Yeah.
all right. There, you guys are in your barracks. I don't know, reading or whatever, right? Doing whatever it is you're trying to relax. And there is a knocking at your plywood door. It kind of, like when it knocks, it's sort of like you knock on the door and then the door like knocks on the frame. You know, kind of does this more of a rattle thing. Yeah, exactly.
I'll go over to the door, slide it open a little bit.
Okay, so you will see Nina standing there.
I'll open it all the way.
So someone want to pick out a picture for Nina, so when I kill her, we have a picture for her? I mean, pick a nice picture for Nina, because that's a nice thing to do.
Pick a card.
All right, so this is Katya here,
There she is.
and we have...
She looks so nice. She's got glasses and, like, you know, chin-length hair.
Oh, look at her!
Well, no, not even quite chin, like cheekbone.
Is she
right at
cute?
the-
She looks like Dash's best friend.
She actually kind of looks like Taffy, if we're being honest. Like the hair and the glasses is about, the hair's the right length.
Oh, wow.
She does kind
She looks a lot like one of my really good friends that moved to Ohio.
Very cool.
Awesome.
She looks like anybody's friend. Like,
She
she's
looks
just
great.
She's
I like
nice.
her.
She's nice looking, friendly. She looks like she's from the Russian equivalent of Iowa.
Yes. Absolutely.
There we go. All right, so you will see Nina there.
Why'd you write her name in red and everybody else is in black?
This one says WIA for Wounded in Action.
Oh,
That's Katya.
oh, okay.
So Nina is there, and I envision Nina as kind of one of... She always has the smudge of some kind of grease on her cheek. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what, when I
She's
worked
just
in...
slightly dirty.
Yeah, when I worked in shop stores, guys, that no matter what they did, if they touched the car, they just were like covered in grease and dirt somehow. She is there at the door. You see her bright, shining face and winning smile covered in dirt and grease.
Bright,
you know.
smudgy face.
I'll step aside so she can come in.
She steps in and she says, a truck arrived today, and somebody that you guys knew from the airdrome, Engels Airdrome, is here or something.
Who is it?
I don't know. Katya, I think they said her name was.
Katya's here?
Well, we have to go see her.
Yeah.
So they told me to come let you guys know. One of the Petrova told me you guys would probably want to know.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
I'm really surprised she's not home.
Why would she be home?
When you're wounded like that, you go home.
Not if you're still useful. Clearly she's still useful.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a
Right?
great thing.
She will tell you that the truck was full of supplies for the infirmary, and that I guess she's probably over there. Otherwise, you'd have to ask Petrova where she's at.
Oh, well, we'll make our way over to the infirmary then.
Yeah.
Good. So you guys get over there, and the infirmary it's not as nice as the one that was at the airdrome. This is more of a makeshift base. They sort of just thrown up out of nowhere. So it's got plywood floors they've laid down over the ground, but they're still muddy and squishy. And when you step on some of them,
They
the
bend.
water and mud like kind of comes up between the cracks a little bit. And you see that there is, as you guys are walking up, it's a large, kind of like one half tent, one half of this plywood building that they've kind of constructed. And there's a truck there that has the tailgate laid down, like a big dual axle truck, you know, and they're pulling off some kind of supplies or whatever.
All right, I'll go over and start helping them unload supplies.
Okay. So they're carrying boxes of, you know, bandages and stuff for the infirmary inside, which is good because you guys are not well supplied here, but the supplies are kind of sporadic in this area. And you are carrying stuff in. And as you're carrying a box, well, let's see. Actually, let's just go ahead and have all of you guys just go ahead and roll me a d6.
4.
2.
Got a 3.
So you two got 4s?
Or as well.
Vera, as you're walking in, you know, like we talked about at the beginning when we kind of recapped things, you didn't feel super bad about it, and you were more concerned about getting in the cockpit with, you know, your mentor and all that, and then, oh yeah, I probably ought to go to the infirmary and make sure Katya's okay, because, you know, it is Katya, you know, but, like, that wasn't your initial focus, right?
No, it's not.
So, as you come walking in, and you walk past where they're kind of, like, taking care of people in the infirmary, and you see that you almost don't even realize who it is at first, right? And when you're walking by, they're taking bandages off of somebody's face, right? And as you realize, you see as you're passing by, you only see like half of their face, right? And it's kind of scarred and burned and in various stages of healing, right? And then as you keep walking by, you almost can't take your eyes off of it. And then you cross the halfway point, and then you see and realize the other half of the face is Katya. And like there's this loud slapping as you drop this box, kind of like shocked by like, oh my God, of how horrific and terrible it is, as this slap of the box hits the plywood floor. And you're standing there, and it's an infirmary, so it's pretty quiet, right? And everyone stops and sort of turns and looks at where this noise came from, and they are all seemingly staring more or less at the line of you guys, but more at Vera as you stand there. And Katya, you see they've unwrapped her face, and you see that one of her arms on the same side of her body is wrapped up as well, from like her hand up to the middle of her upper arm, and she has her blouse top unbuttoned, and you can see that she has bandages like on her side over here, on her left side as well. And yeah, she looks at you and she smiles at you as she recognizes you. It's a friendly face, but it's almost a little disturbing as she smiles. Only one half of her face grins at you because the other side is kind of more or less burnt and kind of doesn't respond quite the same right way. And like it moves a little bit, but not much. And then she smiles, and then almost like you see her, she lights up as she sees the group of you as someone that she knows. And then the moment of pain that comes from her facial muscles and stuff and skin stretching from her smiling happens. And you see her wince, and, you know, her eyes well up with tears of pain as she stands there. And the doctor, like, that is wrapping her and bandaging her, like, smacks her hand, like, stop moving, pay attention, you know, as he's trying to keep her still as she's trying to wrap her up. So what do you do? What do you guys do?
I'm going to pretend that I intentionally dropped that box, and I'm going to walk over to her.
Very good.
Kaya!
I'm gonna finish putting the boxes away.
Okay.
Because that really struck a chord, and I mean, it kind of made it more real.
Okay.
Like, we knew that we could get hurt, but like,
No,
we
it's never going to happen to me.
It's our friend, and she's very badly damaged, so.
Right. Vera, you go walking over there up to her. The doctor's there, but he doesn't pay you too much mind as long as you're not being like obstructive and in the way. And you walk up there.
You're here at Tredgorniaka. Are you going to be working with us?
She says, there's still some work that I can do. My father pulled some strings to make sure that I could stay active. And then the doctor's like, stop talking, you know, as he keeps working.
I'm sorry, you don't have to talk. Man, it is good to see your face. Here.
So you say just that. And she like smiles a little bit and then has that moment of realization of what you just said. And
I didn't mean...
horribly scarred she is. And she sort of like puts her head down, hangs her head a little bit and says, well, I guess I'm just glad to be here and still able to help in some way.
Yeah, Yulia's still our squadron leader. Yulia! She's right here! I'm gonna take a step back.
Don't you dare hang your head in shame. What you look like now is as a result of your service to our country, and we were all better for it. You hold your head high.
Do you feel like that's reaching out or no?
That's what I was going for.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, I can see it there, but it's like completely up to you, you know? So if you think that makes sense, I mean, like you are, you know, sort of reaching out to her. So go ahead and roll with regard. Do you have regard for Kaya or no?
No.
10. So on a 10, choose 2.
So I'm going to choose to remove 1 harm from her, because that seems like an appropriate thing. I'm sure she's got a lot of like mental, emotional damage from this too, so kind of building her up a little bit. I don't think it really makes sense to add 1 to the mission pool for making Kaya feel better. I don't know. So
well, you could take it in that you are bolstering your spirits a little bit, and I think that, you know, I mean, it makes sense.
Me feel better that you came in there and like fixed all the damage I did.
Okay.
Like, you were such a
add
good
1 to the
leader.
mission
I'm
pool
okay-
by
I'm okay with
being,
being
you know,
below you.
strong and leadershipy.
Very good. All right. Okay, so you add 1 to the mission pool. So removing 1 harm, like obviously her wounds don't heal, but she does look, I guess her shoulders sag a little less, and she sits up a little straighter. Yeah, you feel like, you know, you've made a a positive impact on her. So, and Vera, you still stand there kind of awkwardly behind, and then like,
Is that crate still?
yeah, it's still sitting there.
I'm gonna go put the.
Okay, right. Let's see. Like, yeah, this is awkward, and kind of exit stage left.
I don't like death. It's not gonna happen to me. I don't even like the infirmary. What are we doing?
All right, so yeah, I guess you guys have some time. You put the crates up.
Yeah.
Katya's here. You share a few moments with her.
Yeah, I'm gonna come over once he's done bandaging
Yeah.
her up
He's
and
all
stuff
done.
Like that, then
She hops off the bench. She moves more or less okay. Her burns, she walks around and gets around okay, but her burns are, like I said, to her face, her left arm, which is her non-dominant hand, luckily, and the left side of her torso. But more or less, she seems like she is fully functional or whatever, but still has a long road of healing ahead of her.
Yeah, I will give her a side hug. And
Right on. Yeah.
obviously, and
So she gives you a solid side hug, and
yeah, and tell her that we can't wait for her to be back to full health and that we expect to see great things from her still because she was awesome before. So.
Right on. So she looks at you and, like, she seems, not that she hasn't seen friendly faces in a long time, but it's people that, like, that she knew and, like, was coming up with. And she seems legitimately uplifted, and she says that this war isn't done for her yet, and
Heck no, it ain't.
she is very thankful for her father pulling the strings that he did. He's some sort of officer, but she doesn't really talk about him a whole lot. Doesn't want special treatment and whatnot. And that hopefully, they say she's never going to fly again, but she's hell-bent on getting mended up. And she says they're going to have to keep me out of the plane if I
Well,
can get in there.
Once you're fully recovered, whatever I can do to help, you just let me know and I'll be there.
Right on. She's like, I will do everything I can to make sure that, I stay with the 588th and travel along as far as I can go. Very cool. What's the matter there, Vera?
She just has Daddy pulling her strings for her. She's just gonna stay in the war. That's nice.
She takes another hearty swig.
I'm going to top off my wine glass then. Man.
That looks a lot like salt water, Vera.
I like it.
Very good. So is there anything else any of you guys want to do while you're here in the infirmary? Or can we kind of close this scene off? Okay. So,
We get one act. We get 2 actions during the day.
so your planes aren't damaged or anything. They are ready to go essentially because this is the first mission here. So there's no damage, no real issues with them. And so, yeah, you guys have some free time to do whatever it is that you want. You kind of have some squadron business about going and having a meeting with the squadron commander.
Squadron business.
Briefing.
Yeah.
Important stuff. I've got to go brief myself.
I'm going to go write a letter to grandfather now that I'm at the front.
Right on. Very good. So we never named your grandfather, and he seems like he's an important person in your life, so stands to reason that he should have an actual name.
Pavel. Name him Pavel.
Papa Pavel.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes, I love it.
Pavel. Very good.
Good. He's at home in the forest.
Yadushka. Pavel.
You mentioned before that you guys lived on a farm, right? Mm-hmm. So what kind of farm is it? Is it agriculture or is it livestock?
Goats. Please be a goat farmer. No, I'm kidding.
I know how to wrangle these goats.
I mean, isn't everybody in Russia a potato farmer?
Clearly, some of them are rye farmers.
That and Ireland, both, really.
True story.
Yeah.
We were not potato farmers.
Okay, well, I think wheat and rye.
Absolutely.
And, okay, very
we
good.
were, grains. We grew grains.
Very good. Okay.
I mean, do you know how to brew beer?
Because that'd be really
I just feel
helpful.
like that's what you should do with wheat and rye.
We dabbled.
Is your grandfather or grandmother is not alive anymore, right?
No.
And
she's not.
you live with him, so your parents are deceased as well?
They are.
Okay, very good.
They are.
So he's kind of... Do you have siblings or no?
I do not. I am an only child. My parents actually died when I was quite young. An illness moved through the village and took quite a bit of my family. My grandfather has a sister, but she's elderly as well.
Okay. So he's a very important person then
He's all I have,
to you.
basically.
Okay, right. Very good. Right on. All you have, which means all there is to take away. No. Okay. So I imagine correspondence between you is pretty regular then. Is that fair to say? Back and forth?
As regular as it
Okay.
it can be as we're
Right,
traveling
right.
and such.
Okay. So are your letters to him like oh man, this kind of sucks out here, or...
Oh, I don't want to worry him. No.
Okay.
I send back, I tell him we're eating well. I tell him people are kind. I'm making him proud. I'm defending our land, the land that we farmed, the land that was invaded.
Okay.
So,
he's your grandfather, so he's older, obviously. So did he fight in the First World War?
he did.
Okay. I'm having this vision of someone similar to, like, he's sort of the rough grandfather. Is that kind of what you're painting here? Not that he's hard on you, but he's that old timer that's
He can be gruff.
hard. Yeah.
He can be gruff. And
Okay.
he's expected a lot of me. And
Okay.
I've tried to rise to that. I want to make him proud.
Okay. The first letters you sent were mostly, obviously, during the training stuff, right? And
Yes.
it's like you said, you don't want to worry him. But now that you're actually out here in the thick of it and the war is actually churning on still and you're actually part of it now, the last letter you will have gotten from him is more along the lines of, child, you need to cut the shit. I've been through the war. I know how it works. I know how bad things can get. Not to, like, dress you down, but to basically to tell you, you need to be honest with me. And not that he's telling you to come home, but that you need to be kind of like use him as a way to,
Like
The
a wealth of
soundboard
knowledge.
bounce.
yeah,
things off.
decompress and like, like, I don't feed me bullshit because I've been through that.
I am still going to protect grandfather because I don't want to give him a heart attack, because I'm going to tell grandfather that my mechanical ability has allowed me to work on the ground and that I've made friends with a mechanic and I'm trying as hard as I can not to be a bullet catcher. But if I have to go on a plane, I will, because that's how he raised me.
Okay.
I will do what I need to do.
So
Very good.
being where we're at with these rye fields, do you find it comforting or is it more like making you sad and homesick?
It feels a little like
question.
home, but the rye fields are being laid to waste, and so it's upsetting in some ways because I feel like that's a source of income and a way to feed people, and it's being wasted. And that, being my grandfather's granddaughter, he would disapprove.
Very good. Okay. Just so you know, reaching out is oftentimes used in terms of like person-to-person interaction. But if you reveal a new truth to your grandfather, you can, by writing that letter, you can actually reach out to someone. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. So you continue your uplifting face to your grandfather or whatever. Because, I mean, like, really, to be honest, it's not that bad yet.
It's not.
Yeah, we haven't had some
Yeah,
super terrible
exactly.
stuff.
Bad stuff's happened, but, nothing crazy bad yet. So, very good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have not lied to him yet, which
Yeah.
I don't want to, but
Right.
I don't want to scare him.
You know that the debriefing, the squadron meeting will come up. So you will go to that, and at that, all the command staff is there. Your squadron leaders are there. Your lead navigator is there. And then all the section leaders are also there. They will give you the briefing on what your mission is. And then it is essentially on you to bring that briefing back to your section. Is there anything else anybody would like to do before we move into the night phase? Or
While she's doing all that, I'm actually I've been saving like all of my, because I imagine we get some kind of dessert, maybe not every day, but some kind of like,
yeah.
something to lift our spirits, with our meals. So I've been saving those, and I actually trade those off for like cigars and alcohol from like the men.
Right
'cause
on.
They can get it way easier than we can.
Right.
So I will use that to I've actually got a connection over in the barracks with the men who he has a very strong love of like chocolate. So anytime there's anything chocolate, I save that to trade off for like alcohol for us to kind of have a fun girls' night.
Okay.
You got a baggie of caramels in your bag.
All right, so this seems like a scrounge if you're trying to get things for you guys that way. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So who is this guy that you sort of trade with? How about
Sergey.
I like that.
so he is a sergeant. Is
Sergey.
is he a pilot or is he what does he do here?
Yeah, he's one of the pilots.
Okay. So if he's a pilot, then he is not a sergeant. Right? What's your lowest rank you guys can be? Start off at?
Sergeant.
Sergeant.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's just a sergeant. then.
Are we allowed to go to the village?
Well,
Maybe I sneak off to the village?
yeah.
Did you ask if you were allowed?
I didn't.
Then you're not strictly prohibited.
Exactly. Did they tell
Funny
us?
thing how regulations work.
I was never told I couldn't go to the village.
And most likely you
Hey,
won't be caught.
there's a saying: it's better to ask for forgiveness than it is
Yeah.
for permission.
I'm
So
gonna
I'm
go
just saying.
scrounge. I'm gonna go scrounge in the village.
Okay, very good. So you head to the village. What's the village called?
It's called Trudgorn.
Trudgornyaka?
Yeah, Trudgornyaka.
All right, so it's a smallish village, but you're going to go there. What are you scrounging for?
Cigarettes and booze, or
Very
like
good.
cigars and booze. Didn't somebody smoke cigars? Did we? I don't
we
remember.
smoked cigarettes.
Or cigarettes.
I thought you were
Okay,
looking for chocolate to
cigarettes.
give them, though.
No, I have the chocolate. I've been saving all my like snacks and stuff like that.
I
I was
see.
gonna trade with him, but then I was like, oh, we just came here and there's a village. Maybe they'll be like, oh yes, soldiers, we will help you.
Right.
Have some cigarettes and some booze. Okay.
All right, so you head to the village of Trudgornyaka. So go ahead and roll plus luck. Make your scrounge roll there.
Oh, 9.
Okay, so on a 9, you get to choose. You get what you need, but choose 2.
Maybe
Choose 2 off that list, and then we'll go from there, I guess.
maybe attracted some unwanted attention. Maybe a couple thuggish brutes were like, oh, new women. How's it going?
All right.
I'm going that way. That's how I'm going.
All right, so then pick one other one.
And I'll take a harm from lack of sleep.
Okay, very good. So mark 1 harm because it is quite a walk to the village.
Yeah.
And back. We'll say that, yeah, you say you attract some unwanted attention, and I think it makes sense. So you are in the village, scrounging around and asking around where to find things in this village. So you find the guy that makes the liquor here, and you're at there's got to be some kind of a small tavern here or whatever.
Yeah.
And the guy that runs the tavern, he makes his own liquor. And his name is Boris, in fact. You make some deal with him and you scrounge up enough cash or whatever to trade with him and sell him. Or, I mean, to buy the liquor in the couple packs of smokes. But being inside this tavern, there are like I said, a couple field hands that seem to take notice of you. And as you leave this bar with a bottle of liquor and a couple packs of smokes wrapped up in a cloth.
Yeah, in a bag.
Yeah, so it doesn't look too suspicious as you're walking.
Oh!
Yeah, you don't want to walk through the gate and be like, "Hey, party's on me!" Right? And they are, as you leave, you become keenly aware that moment where they watch you walk past, and you open the door and you walk out, and the sound where the door would normally swing closed, you hear it bang
hear that
closed.
Thud of a hand.
Yeah, you hear the thud of a
instead.
hand hit the door. And you become aware that they are walking, they're following you as you leave the bar here. So what do you do?
I'm going to turn around and confront them.
All right, right on. So how are you, like they're standing there, you spin around on them with your bag of goodies, essentially.
Can I help you?
They smile and they say, I think you might be able to. What's your name there,
Sergeant?
young lady? Oh, an officer even.
Yes, I am. And I have somewhere to be. So, move along.
Do you feel like, because these people aren't military people, right?
Yeah.
Which also strikes you as odd that they're not actually fighting somewhere, and
Yeah. Like, why are you still here?
So
They clearly don't look like hurt or anything
right.
like that.
So there's an argument that we could go with that you're acting like a natural born surrogate airwoman, or I think that you could go with rolling plus guts because you're acting like a lady. So I think it kind of could go either way. If they were soldiers, then it would be Soviet airwoman. So
Yeah.
whichever you think.
Probably the lady. That makes
Okay.
sense.
So go ahead and roll plus guts as you act up.
10.
Oh, right on. So on a 10 plus, choose 2.
I'll do the make someone do what you want.
Okay. Is that the person you are imposing?
I will tell them that they have no business with me. They are clearly not helping our country win, so they have no need to talk to me. And I will...
So you sort of shame them, I guess, because they're just being farmers here.
Yeah.
Right
What
on.
are you doing? And then I will add one to our mission pool.
Very good.
And then I will turn around. Holy crap.
All right, yeah. So, right on. So you
Puff up my chest.
Yeah.
But maybe not too much.
and yeah, they seem sufficiently shamed. Like, yeah, because obviously people have brothers and fathers and sons that have gone off and fought, and some not come back and whatever. And Yeah, they sort of recoil at your. I'm here fighting, and I'm a woman.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, and they seem upset about that. Like, you think if you encounter them again, there might be some more trouble, but they seem like they've been shamed enough. There's some people around that see this, and they're like, oh, and they sort of stomp back off into the bar.
Ha, that's right.
Very good.
And I will return with my payload.
Very good.
Ha.
Tired and worn, but back nonetheless. Anything else?
I want to eyeball Sveta.
Which one is Sveta? Who is Sveta?
She is the deputy.
Okay,
Full of
yes,
truck. She's
yes.
NKVD. I want to know about her.
So, is there anywhere particular you want to catch her at where you're going to go eyeball her? Or
I don't want it to be weird. Does she eat with us?
Yes. And also, you guys are all officers, so there is a division generally between upper enlisted and lower enlisted, right? So, officers and non-officers. But you guys are all officers, so she eats in the officers area, which is where you guys all eat as well. So she will be, if you want to catch her in the commissary. Eating.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to be staring at her from across the room. Maybe I'll sit near that table.
Okay.
And see what she talks about. Like, what does she do?
So go ahead and eyeball Sveta as she's there. Actually, you know what? She will be there, and she is sitting down and eating with the regimental Politruck as well.
Awesome, because it was a toss-up on who I was going to
Captain
eyeball.
Barsukova.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people are scared of them and don't want to, because of they're the NKVD.
Well, then I'll just plop down with them to eat lunch.
Okay. Right.
But I'm not and I'll just eyeball. I'm I'm all about making connections, so I don't feel like.
Right on, balls out. Let's go.
Damn. Okay, so I got a 7.
Hold 1. Spend your hold an hour later to ask a question. Take 1 forward when you act on the answers. So.
How could I get the NKVD's favor?
Oh, there is one easy way to get the NKVD's favor.
Oh, turncoat is obvious, but specifically these two. Not just the NKVD in particular, these two. I'm not gonna throw one of my girls under the bus. How can I get their favor?
Yeah.
That's I get more than just their favor if I do that. That's a move. Just say, since I said Sveta originally, how can I get Sveta's favor? And if it is just get her somebody turned in, then I'll give you that. But is there something else?
So Sveta is the deputy, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's a lieutenant, so she's younger than Captain Barsukova, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she has all the gusto and zeal of a young Politruck officer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she is kind of like a
Unbribable.
Yeah, she is. If there was a good cop, bad cop scenario here, she would be the bad cop. She is the by the books. I mean, bad cop being the one that's going to get you, right? I'm by the book. These are the rules. We don't break the rules. Whereas Barsukova is more of the there's some wiggle room here, but you got to scratch my back kind of person, right? Now, with that, Sveta, she can't go necessarily against her senior officer unless she's going to turn her in, which is incredibly dangerous, okay? So that's kind of the relationship of how those two work together, okay? So in terms of how could you get Sveta's favor, I think the obvious one is to get her into a position where she can be promoted to affect more change and political policing of the regiment here. And in order to do that, she would have to get promoted, essentially, right? From her deputy position to the regimental Politruck. I guess as far as a method, I mean, that's kind of a given, right? Mm-hmm. And as far as a method, okay. So she, in sitting here and they're talking, you find out that Sveta, she seems to think that Senior Lieutenant Petrova is too easy on the recruits when you guys were back at the airdrome, right? And that she should have been harder on them, and that there are some that should have washed out but didn't. And in fact, that is actually hindering the war effort, because if you had competent, hard as nails pilots in those seats instead of some of these softies that they have sitting in the seats right now, that the war effort would be going better The war effort would be going better, and maybe the Russian army wouldn't be in retreat. And if she could find a way to someone to cast more doubt on Senior Lieutenant Petrova that would be a really big deal to uncover that, and that might get her promoted.
Okay.
Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yeah,
For that
no, it
question?
does. I just gotta make sure it doesn't happen, because I still have a couple years before I'm legally in this military effort.
Very good, very good. Well, I wanted to set that relationship initially because it seems like you guys would kind of know some of that already. You know what I'm saying? So, okay.
No, I need to know these things, because
Right.
I'm gonna make sure that if anybody goes under the bus, it's not me.
You go to the village, you spend time at the commissary with the Politotruck. Also, you do notice that some people take note of you having lunch with them, and that's may have consequences later.
I don't talk much.
You're sitting at the table with them, though, and most people sort of,
Don't.
yeah.
Do they take note of it like it's a bad thing that I'm doing it?
No.
Okay.
But like
I don't want their attention.
no, they. I mean, obviously they take note of it because you sit down with them. But like, what I'm saying is that
Other people are like,
other people
what
are
is she
like,
telling them?
Why is she sitting there with them? Because you know, in the past, when someone had sat with them,
Somebody got in trouble. Nobody's gonna get in trouble after this, though.
or does someone get in trouble and you get blamed for it?
Dun dun dun.
Oh,
I'll be mad. Somebody will burn.
when people see that, that's how that story goes, right? And you head to Trud Gornyaka, and you write your letter to your grandfather. Is there anything else significant that you guys would like to do? The planes are in order, initially at least. Okay.
I'm going to scribble down some words to start.
Okay. Very good.
Is he still at the airdrome?
Airdrome, yeah.
Airdrome. Maybe she's passing the note through the little hidey hole.
I sort of assumed he wasn't here, but I didn't know if he got sent.
He's not here.
somewhere else.
He's not here. He's still,
He's not
we'll
at the
say,
airdrome.
he's still at the airdrome. So,
Does
Kicking
Yulia
ass, taking
have a
names,
So-
going on a mission,
love interest.
folded
spark?
into an airplane.
very good. Okay.
Wish
so,
me luck, haha, don't need it.
I crashed today. I mean, you know, perhaps I shouldn't have tempted the fates with that last letter. Very good. All right, so I guess we will move into the night phase then, if there's nothing else you guys want to do. Yulia, you want to deliver the briefing to your section? Also, if these go bad, she's the one that picks the missions that you guys actually do, so you can blame the section leader for that.
All right, ladies. I would like for the German army to suffer as much as we're suffering in this godforsaken mud hole. And so, we're going to be doing an intense bombing of German troop positions and supply depots across the Cuban area. Is it Kuban?
I don't know.
I imagine it wouldn't be Cuban, but
No, I guess it would be Kuban.
it's Cuban with a K.
Right.
Across the Kuban area around Starobelisk. Starbucks now. and the Tangenron Koi. Yeah, I should have picked something different. And the Tangenrog Kai Baishev line. Heavy patrols by Luftwaffe's elite JG-54 group should be expected through this area of operations.
The Luftwaffe is the German Air Force.
If
As a-
Yellowtail's with him, I'm taking him down.
As a game note, all consequences are increased by 1 during this mission, and anyone participating advances.
Now you need to assign the positions in the planes.
You know how I like it.
I'm gonna be a pilot.
So, just to review, whoever is the lead pilot and the lead navigator, they need to be in the same plane, and then the other 2 planes are the Vetemaya. And now things are significantly more.
Dun dun dun.
All right, so in the lead plane, tail number 121, nicknamed Suka, piloted by Vera, navigator is Dasha.
Navigators who?
Dasha.
Me. Let's go.
And do I have to assign the other ones?
Air fives.
Yes.
Like, but they don't have like a specific name.
No, they're just Vetemaya.
Okay. Vetemaya, tail number 001, nicknamed Tibrit, pilot is Galia, navigator is Sonia, and tail number 101, nicknamed Gordost, pilot is Yulia, and navigator is Olia.
So, Olia is with you, and
Yes.
Sonia is with
Galia.
Galia. Very good. All right. So, we start this off with a wayfinding roll. Remember, your 2 planes, the Vetemaya, can take consequences for the lead plane. You have 1 hold, and you can spend your hold at any time to take 1 of their consequences on yourself or your aircraft. And you guys also have a mission pool here of 2. So don't forget. And
Good
you
job.
spend those before or after. Dasha, why don't you go ahead and make me a wayfind roll? So roll plus... It's at night, so roll plus skill.
My skill's 2. So
It's a 6.
I say we
Spend
use
1, it's a success.
7.
We'll take a consequence, but it's a success.
Very good.
That
Okay.
would be way better than failing.
Definitely.
Yeah, so if just so you guys
okay.
know, if you fail at a wayfinding roll, you're like, I think it's this way. Oh, nope, maybe not. Which could cause large, giant problems. Okay, so there's 1 remaining in the mission pool there. On a 7 through 9, you find the place and choose 1.
my plane will suffer a minor mechanical failure. Plane is
Makes-
damaged.
Because she's a Suka.
I can.
All right, so your guys' plane will... You go ahead and check the damage box on their plane. So if I remember correctly, when you guys were flying this plane last time, was it Suka that blew a cylinder in the air?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that seems to reason to me this fucking plane, you know.
Still my favorite.
I think the cylinders are solid. It should probably be something different this time.
Oh, no, I think it's one of those things that has that chronic... Or what was the personality on it? Was it just bitch? Yeah.
She's a bitch.
Well, it's just that one goddamn cylinder. It just doesn't...
She likes it extra greasy, and we don't ever put enough oil in it.
Exactly. So yeah, you're flying and you're pushing the plane, and it just... You hear it, it drop. You know it dropped the cylinder. You're not sure if it's the same one, but chances are. I mean, come on.
Dasha's the same one, isn't it?
It's gotta be. It's plain bitch.
I love her, though.
Right on. So let's go ahead and make our attack run. Dasha has lined up an approach. She guides you guys in by the river, and you see that there are a section of canvas tents that are all set up where the enlisted are sleeping, and you also see a couple large warehouse-style buildings that have presumably supplies, as well as the railroad tracks that are all lined up in here. So go ahead and make your attack run. So go ahead and roll plus
Guts.
guts.
Yes! 11.
Damn.
I'd like to know what the front of that yellow tail looks like, but I'm not going to tonight, because I am on point.
So on a 10 plus, your payload connects. Choose one.
Choose one.
Still better than 2.
All right, a storm of flak. Like, they know we're coming. We keep them up all night. It'll keep them from sleeping better, so I'm going to trigger that enemy fire.
Okay, so I don't think that flak makes sense in this situation because you knew you were coming here with potential Luftwaffe, right? So
What?
I'm going to say it still triggers enemy fire, but it's not flak from anti-aircraft.
It's the
It's
Luftwaffe.
damage from the Luftwaffe.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, we knew they were going to
Yeah,
come get us.
I think that does that make more sense in terms of how? Okay,
Yep.
okay.
know
so-
Like I
There.
said, if I ever see the front of him, he's going down, but I'm probably only going to see that yellow tail.
all right. So when your guys' PO2 is hit by bullets or flak, roll plus luck.
Who rolls?
And let me rephrase. So right now they are taking this consequence. So if either one of your guys' 2 planes could take the consequence for them because you're the Vetomaya. The only stipulation is that their plane is already damaged, so that may play a factor in it. So if one of you guys would like to suffer the enemy fire, you may.
All right, I'll take it.
Very good. Okay, so go ahead and roll plus luck there, Galia, as you and Sonia.
Do I get an extra since I have regard with my plane?
I would say so, yeah, because it's the plane
Ooh,
taking the fire.
that's like a +3.
Yeah. Oh, snake eyes! That's so bad.
So what's your total?
That's a 5.
Yeah, 5.
A 5.
Oh, but they're like hammer
Wait, but,
sickle.
oh no, it's a 7. Is it a 7 that is?
What are the?
So 6 and below is a failure. 7 through 9 is succeeded a
So it
cost.
says
Now, there
on
is...
a miss.
No, I thought on double sickles we decided.
It was only if you were being a true Russian airwoman. And I think taking fire in your plane is not in the spirit of, like, look at my badass Sovietness, how we can get shot down, right? Does that seem to make sense?
Okay,
Right.
Okay, so you do have 1 left in the mission pool that you can spend on this. So you right now have a
5.
5. Oh, that one
Still
would be a
would
6.
only-
Oh,
What about the whole one?
okay. So I get to make a hard move now.
Oh no!
So let's do this. You guys are out flying.
You can choose 3. What?
On a miss 3 from the 7.
Oh, well.
Or maybe something
I'm
more
sorry.
horrific.
Let me review the 7 through 9 before I decide to choose something horrific.
Sorry.
I had something in mind that was horrific, but maybe these 3 things would be better.
Oh.
So, you and your fellow Russian airwoman are marked. Casualties on board split 5 harm between you. However you like, also triggers wheel down later. And your plane is damaged, also triggers wheels down later. And another plane in your section goes down, the GM will decide which.
Oh no, that's so terrible. I don't like any of these.
3.
And I get 3 of these.
4 of them
Or
suck.
you have your hard move that's terrible. I don't know which is worse.
Something horrific. I mean, if we're being honest, this sounds pretty horrific as it is. Okay, so 3 of them. Man, first time out. Okay, so I am going to say. All right, so I am going to say that your plane is damaged, and let's go ahead and say that you and your fellow airwoman are marked. So go ahead and flip your sheet over. And there is, choose one of those under the marked section and mark it and do whatever it says. But pick one that makes sense in terms of what's happening here and we'll narrate through what it is.
I'm gonna go with witness the death of a comrade. Maybe Sonia dies.
Okay.
She takes
Well, that
too
makes
many
sense.
bullets.
So I was going to actually choose casualties on board, split 5 harm between you, however
takes
you
all of
like. So, however, there's 5. She can only take 4.
Aw. I take one.
So,
I take one.
all right.
Ooh, thanks for not putting me in that plane.
Well, if it was one of us, I mean, you know.
All right, so go ahead and mark 1 more harm.
I love it. I love it.
And so were you navigating or were you in the pilot seat?
Oh, no, I was piloting, yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's how I'm kind of seeing this is that you guys follow these railroad tracks in, you follow the river to get there.
Yeah.
And then, that's your initial landmark. And Dasha does an amazing job navigating. Well, not amazing, but pretty good job. You rolled a 7.
I did okay.
Right. But she got you there. That's the important thing.
I hit.
And then Vera unleashing some Soviet
Rockstar pilot.
some Soviet justice on the Hitlerite dogs, releases the payload successfully. However, in doing so, draws the attention of the Luftwaffe. And their planes are top of the line, best in the world right now. And they breathe liquid death at you guys with bullets coming from their planes. And
They shoot right through the canvas exterior.
Yeah.
yes,
Bark,
yeah,
shitty
they're
little biplane,
Yeah.
true story. And
and rain a hail of bullets on you and
I mean,
Sonia.
it looked like as you guys are flying
Yes.
in, I think you're flying in. Vera and Dasha are in the process of making their bombing run, and you see that actually this Yellowtail this time he has Vera and Dasha. They're playing Suka dead to rights,
Like he's gonna get
perfectly
them.
line up, and he is gonna riddle that plane with bullets and cut it in half. And you come.
Swooping out of the
yeah,
air like a...
Like a pigeon?
Yeah, you
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
do. Come distractingly strutting across
So
the air.
I've got to say, I have this vision right now of Ernie doing the pigeon, doing the pigeon.
Pooping uncontrollably.
So you see the Yellowtail.
It's about to get him.
He has them dead to rights. So what does it look like as you
I'm gonna
take this consequence?
fly over them and kind of turn the plane sideways
Mm-hmm.
to where it kind of gets them out of his direct line of vision.
Okay.
To where maybe he's now confused on which plane to shoot and
Okay.
where to shoot and just starts shooting everything.
Right on. So yeah, you swoop in there, and he has to kind of correct because I think maybe you're a little too close because your planes are slow.
Yeah.
Compared to this German modern engineering of an airplane, and he has to kind of change course, and in doing so, is very clearly pretty pissed off, and just lays into your plane and riddles you full of bullets.
Oh, my poor plane.
So I think there's this moment where you're pulling on the stick and trying to do the best you can to evade, and there's bullets flying by, and you hear the roar of the guns coming off of his plane. And as you're making your evasive maneuvers, he's just so much faster. He blows right past you.
Yeah.
And there's that moment where you're like,
Oh my God, Sonia, we made it!
yeah, you're screaming, woo, we
Why
made
aren't you
it.
talking?
And yeah, there's no response.
Yeah.
And
Sonia!
I think at that point, you realize that the back of your neck feels wet.
Oh.
Yeah, and yeah, so you reach back there and you pull your hand forward, and in the gleam of the moonlight, your whole hand is red.
Oh God.
And there's this terrible moment where you think, maybe I got shot in the neck and I can't feel it.
Yeah.
But then, nothing happens and you become aware that that's definitely not your blood.
Oh,
And
it's even worse.
yeah, there's no response from Sonya, and you. Well, I mean, what do you do?
I probably start to tank a little bit because now I'm more paying attention to
Right.
holy shit, I got shot, she got shot, somebody's not doing good.
So yeah, you took one harm, so you took, you get banged up and jostled around and whatever. And well, do you look back to see?
Yeah. After I correct myself, I'm gonna turn around. Are you okay? I mean, obviously there's a lot of blood. It's not good, but maybe
So you
she's
turn
okay.
around and you see that she is, you're in the front seat and she's in the back seat, and you see that she is slumped forward over that little space in between the fuselage that divides the pilot and the navigator compartment, and she's just leaking everywhere.
Going to throw up over the side of the plane.
Okay.
Or in my lap.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You do the best you can.
I'm gonna,
throw up, get sick everywhere.
Yeah.
And, so...
Probably try to compose myself after I barf everything.
That happens. You feel you guys will see...
My plane is probably
It's
all over the place. What the hell's wrong with her?
But it also got shot to bits as well. So you're not sure if it's pilot or mechanical, but you see that there is definitely problems in that plane.
Gaia was like, shit, something happened.
Can I try and fly, not close to the plane where I'm going to be in harm's way, but so she can see me and try and correct.
Well,
try and get her back in formation, basically.
You guys use hand signals and stuff to send messages from plane to plane. So right on, yeah. So you're able to get up next to there, and you're able to see, and you see that you see that Sonya is slumped forward and not moving, and you see that you see her. I mean, you've been through it before. You see that she's probably up in the pilot seat, retching, having a hard time.
Try and get this.
All right.
Yeah. So she
after a minute or so
does imagine there's something where you
wax on myself.
You tip
this way.
You tip the wings back and forth at one another.
Once I'm composing myself, then I will look over and try and get my shit back together and start flying.
I mean, you compose yourself as best as you can. A lot has happened. Successful mission though, and you guys fly back. And your two plane, the Suka and the Tibrit, will both have to make a wheels down roll as both planes are damaged. So you fly back and manage to survive. And
Since I can bring a plane wheels down well. Does that add anything? Adventurers choose one. There it is. Never mind.
What's that?
Choose bam. Says on a 7-9 you prang the plane and choose 2 consequences. Adventurers only choose 1.
Oh, cool.
So I don't get a plus to the roll, but if I don't do it as good as I could have,
we only.
So yeah, you for wheels down, you're gonna roll plus skill.
I got an 11.
I got a 5.
There's a nice tree break here. We're gonna put it in nice and easy.
All right, so Vera and Dasha.
Did you add 1 for being in your plane?
Yes, you'll get 1 for wheels down in your plane.
And then you can use the pool, and then you have a 7, and then you only get 1 consequence.
Yes, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, right on. Okay, so
what you said.
I think we should start with the less bad, because I think your guys' plane, while it's damaged, is not shot up. So I think you guys make better time getting back. You don't leave each other behind.
Yeah.
But you're in the lead. Also, you guys are the lead plane anyway, so you would guide the way back. Familiar with the way there, Dasha, you navigate a successful path back. And Vera, go ahead and choose. Is it choose 1?
None.
On a 10+, your P is on 2, and in one piece, change and open regards to refer to your plane if you want.
All right.
So, it's a rough landing. It's not ideal, but you set it down.
I adore Suka the most. I just love this plane. Not a parental love or romantic love, but I just adore this plane.
Yeah.
I love the name. I love the way the seats fit. This is my plane. This is my stuff.
Very good. So yeah, it's sputtering and spitting, running a little rough as you come in, but you set it down okay.
She's awkward like me. She popped a cylinder, but at least she got the job done.
Very good. So, Galia and Sonya in the Tibrit, what happens when you land? So on a 7 through 9, you pang the plane and choose 2 consequences.
If you wreck it, you get to go up in advancement. Not saying you should. You have a regard to it, but...
There is a plane. You guys have a plane in reserve. It may cause problems.
And you do have a regard to this one.
Yeah, that is true.
But if I take harm, then I'm dead.
Yeah, you can't give Sonya any more harm. She's
Darn it.
already dead.
3 harm would just give you 4, right?
No, she already has 2 harm on her.
Oh.
I'll take the landing. Puts me in immediate danger.
Okay, you have to take 2.
Nope, I'm an adventurer, so I don't have to take
Oh,
one.
you only have to take 1.
Yes, thank y'all.
Okay, so your landing puts you in immediate danger. What do you think? What do you think that looks like? I don't know. Immediate danger from landing the plane.
Well, there are trees right before our runway.
Yeah, maybe.
And flaming hay
There's
bales.
also a giant mud pit at the end of our runway.
Oh, also
Yeah.
the hay bales are on fire because your guys
so
they like
maybe I land cockeyed and get really close to the hay bales, and maybe it sets my plane on fire.
Those
like,
flammable
And
planes.
it's
Yeah.
canvas
Well,
pitch.
I think it doesn't make it a fire. It doesn't affect the plane
Oh,
because
okay.
that would be choosing it to be a fiery wreck.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So I think if you're going to be in immediate danger, maybe it's positioned in such a way that the plane isn't in danger, but you are with these flaming hay bales. Is that okay? Do you think that makes sense?
Yeah, maybe when I land, the plane comes down okay, but for some reason it does something and actually throws me out of the plane.
Okay. Either I have
maybe,
another idea
one
too.
of the-
So either you can choose to be thrown out of the plane, which I'm okay with that too, or you land the plane and because of Sonia and being overwhelmed earlier, you just want to be out of this plane right now, and you jump out and maybe the flaming hay bales are right there. So it's either one of those two. I'm
I like
okay
being
with.
thrown out. So
Okay.
for whatever, while I'm trying to land it, the plane lands and they're able to stop it, but I get thrown out. Of it.
Okay.
Because you're all wet from puking on yourself.
Right.
Yeah,
Wet and bloody and muddy also.
yeah, and then maybe a bullet cut the.
So-
Oh, yeah, you
Bill?
got hit with a bullet, too.
I think this
Well,
seems like
It just said damage, so I mean, I could have maybe just got banged up a lot from moving.
yeah, or you could have got grazed. It could be
grazed, yeah.
it doesn't necessarily define what the damage is, but I think in jumping out and being in immediate danger, this seems like tempting fate. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and roll plus guts. And
Please be something good. 8! Woohoo!
all right, so on it 7 through 8, you do it, but not without a cost. The GM can offer you a worse outcome, a hard bargain, or an ugly choice. Okay, so here's what I'm seeing. Plane lands and it throws you out. What I'm thinking is the hard bargain or choice, I think, is either you can be thrown out and kind of land on top of one of these flaming hay bales, right, and take 1 harm, or you can land hard, be thrown out, and have Sveta, Lieutenant Sveta, the deputy Politotruck, sees this happen, and maybe her view of it isn't that you got thrown out, but maybe that her vision of it and the way she sees the situation happen is that she thinks you jumped out.
No, I'll definitely take the damage.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Does that seem like a fair hard bargain?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, both suck, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a hard bargain. So,
Yeah.
okay. Very good. So, you bail out and they get the plane stopped.
If she is landing on a fiery bell, I'm pulling her out as fast as I can. I am running towards her. I'm not ending with another Katya.
Okay. Very good. Okay. So, I think the reason you only take 1 harm then is you land and you get thrown. It's not you jumping out, you get thrown.
Yeah.
So it's a hard. When you hit the
Yeah.
ground, you hit hard and it hits you just so that it knocks
Knocks
the
the
air
wind.
out of your lungs and you're kind of half dazed and stunned and
And trying to roll, and I'm on fire now.
yeah, like the equivalent of the Russian Carl Lewis. Vera, just like a demon, comes sprinting down the runway, dodging goats, and whatnot. And
Goat
you just
riddles.
feel 2 hands grab you by the back of your flight suit and just rips you backwards, throws you on the ground, and smacks the flames out.
Holy crap.
I don't want another your face coming. That's too
And
awkward.
at this moment, you guys become aware that your 2 planes have landed, and there's still 1 plane in the air to put on the ground, and you guys are standing in the runway. Now, your plane isn't damaged or anything, but you're the last one to land, I would think, because you're not shot up or blown up or
Right.
beaten up. So, you guys clear the runway, and
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'll try and get off of the runway.
right on.
Roll or move the best that I can.
So, you guys clear the runway, and you make a couple laps around the airfield.
Oh, wait, I'm unconscious, so I'm not doing anything.
Oh, okay. So.
Dragging me.
Okay, so Vera drags you away. You can steer your plane, because you're.
I
in
will
the
have gotten it
aviation-
off the runway.
Yeah, so you get it off the runway, and there'll be some flight controller,
Medics.
people that will move the plane.
Oh my god, I didn't even check on Sonia.
And then we'll be
gonna
calling
haunt
for
me.
medics to come to Galia's
Sonya.
plane because we saw
Well, you
what
just
happened.
imagined that
Right.
she was
Yeah.
okay in the plane.
You fell out. I was like,
Right.
oh my.
She grabbed you, and then I'm calling for medics to come because I don't know what's going on.
Right,
in
yeah,
here.
so
But
you're
we
back-
saw her plane get hit. We
Yeah.
don't know where Sonya
So yeah,
is.
you're at the hangar, steering it into the hangar, screaming for...
Yeah, somebody get to that plane.
Very good. So they get the runway cleared. You taxi your plane back. They taxi the Tiburon off the runway. They get to looking at Sonya, and then the runway is cleared for you to land. What are you in? The Zagnut or the? No, that's the reserve.
Gordost.
Okay, so you are able to bring in Gordos without too much of a problem, and you set it down, wheels down. It's all good. Taxi it back to the hangar, and there you guys are.
Is there an extra? I'm gonna take her into the infirmary. If Katya is there, I'm gonna try and get Galia next to Katya.
Okay.
Imagine there's probably medics to help with the
Yeah. So there are.
But I'm gonna be adamant that you need to be with the rest of us, and even I don't want to talk to her, but but when you wake up, you'll enjoy it. I know it.
So I already saw pulling up next to them that Sonya is like I've
Okay, so
pretty safely assumed
hang on a
over
second.
the air.
We'll come back around. You take her to the
She's
infirmary.
covered in blood.
Right.
She's
Yeah.
unconscious.
So
I have some minor burns,
where
probably.
are you headed, Dasha? Like you have the plane in the hangar. It's shut down. It's all good. What are you doing once you get out of the plane?
I'm going to look over and make sure that there are medics
Yeah,
heading
there-
toward that plane.
There are people there taking
And then
care of
I'm
her.
going to get myself off the runway because
Yeah.
now I'm in an unsafe position. I'm going to head to the infirmary and check on
Okay.
everyone that
Right
went
on.
in.
Okay, so you guys have all headed to the infirmary then. There are people that have attended to Sonya, and they've shuttled her away.
Right.
You land the plane, you taxi it into the runway, and once you pull in, you wheel in there with you and Olia. Are you piloting or are you navigating in that plane?
piloting.
Okay, so you're in the front of the plane, and you turn into the hangar. As you see, there are a couple mechanics there, and they have a water hose, and they are standing inside on the wing, and they are spraying the inside of the cockpit down with a hose, and you just see red water just pouring out of the bullet holes in the fuselage of the plane as they spray out the inside of the plane.
Well, I was not the lead plane, so I'm gonna assume I probably had a pretty good vantage of everything that happened,
Yeah, so you
including
see-
their plane getting shot. So I have no illusions about
Right.
the state of Sonya at the moment. So I am going to get out of the plane and make sure that her body is treated with the appropriate dignity and respect.
Shit's actually not even there.
Oh,
It's
okay.
already been you had to loop around and they have to clear, and you have to make sure the runway's clear. So it takes a few minutes before you get down, and they move with that stuff pretty quick. So
I'm going to track down wherever she went and make sure her body is treated with the appropriate
Okay.
dignity and respect.
all right, so you guys head to the hospital there, or the infirmary, and they are tending to Galia, and you guys will see that they look at Sonya for a few minutes, do a few things, medically looking stuff, but very quickly they stop, and they sort of pull the sheet across the top of her, and they wheel her out of the infirmary area and back into a makeshift morgue area, and there's a hush that falls across the infirmary. I mean, people are still doing their jobs and whatnot, but and then you said you're heading to the infirmary then? Okay, so yeah, at that point, as you will see them, as you come walking in, you will see them wheeling a stretcher away, and you will see Galia laying on a stretcher on a gurney being worked on, and Vera and Dasha will be there, and Olia will be right behind you.
I want to stop the people moving the gurney.
Okay, so you hustle up there, and they stop for you.
Okay. I'm going to whisper some last words to Sonya.
Okay.
Something nice.
Okay.
Something about serving your country well and so on and so forth. Flying into the afterlife.
Very good.
Kiss on the forehead.
That might
You
be
go
a
to
little messy.
you go to kiss on the forehead, and there's not much left to kiss her on the forehead.
That's
so
hamburger.
yeah, you can kiss the top of her head or whatever. There's
Wherever.
very good. They roll her away.
Does Galia look okay?
Yes, you see that they are working on her, but the medical staff doesn't seem to have incredible urgency.
I'm leaving.
Okay.
I don't like it in the infirmary. Death, and it's
Very good.
uncomfortable.
I'm going to go back
No.
and check on my plane since everyone's working.
Very good. Since you get the advancement for her dying, go ahead and write KIA.
Oh,
Does that mean you get 2 advancements?
This marker.
So when we were going before, there's a box with a note on my bed that says celebration for when we return. Like, it's just like a folded note.
Oh.
So if they go back, they'll see that.
Okay, very good. Very good.
I'm not even going to go to bed. I'm going to go someplace else. Not looking at a box while you're unconscious.
Okay, so you guys do know that after these combat missions, there is a debriefing that happens.
I'm going there.
Yeah.
So Olya will follow behind with you guys. And there is the regimental commander and the chief of staff. So it is Major Berchanskaya and Captain Lobodeva are there. And they have on the wall, there's a map of the area and whatnot.
So is this after I'm conscious again?
So...
Or is this happening while I'm unconscious?
No, I think this probably happens while you're unconscious.
Okay.
So each section leader reports in and talks about what, how things went and whatever. And in this case, I think it will be, this seemed like a pretty important mission because you were bombing railways and supply lines. This debrief will be, you'll be brought to the debriefing area. There's like a specific tent area that you guys go to for that. And it will actually be Major Berchanskaya is there. And it'll be the squadron is basically all of you guys are, all the people that flew tonight are there. She talks about that there was a successful bombing raid conducted on German supply lines, both on infantry encampments, supply railways, and actual supply depots. And the bombings were performed successfully. She says this is very important. This will help our war effort a lot. We have our own supply line issues, but we, as Russian airwomen, are not in a position to fix that. What we are in a position to fix is stopping the supply lines of the German army. So while we can't improve our supplies, we can disrupt theirs. And that is what our job is here to do right now. And that was done well. You're the section commander, so if you this is a more informal meeting because of everything that's happened. So at any point, there's feedback can be offered or whatever, however you guys want to do it. She says the night wasn't without casualties, though. Unfortunately, tonight we lost Sergeant Sonia Bobkov. She was with she's flipping through her papers.
Tibrit. She was with the plane Tibrit.
She was
588.
in the Tibrit 588. What?
Squadron 3, Section C.
Squadron 3, Section C. So her sacrifice
Prevented the loss of lives and Soviet aircraft.
very good. So she performed well.
Galia's quick thinking that allowed for us to be able to successfully complete that mission without losing any aircrafts.
Very good. I heard there were lots of hard landings tonight, so no wrecked planes on the runway, which is always a good thing. Our supply lines are strained as it is, let alone if we have fiery wrecks on the runway. Good on all of you pilots, navigators, for your hard work and your sacrifice tonight.
If I may, I know that there is a Luftwaffe that is specifically targeting us, the female pilots. I don't know who he is, but he is Yellowtail. And it is he that is responsible for Sonia's death.
Have you seen a tail number on him?
FW190.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have good news there. Our planes aren't in a position to shoot them down. They're not even armed sufficiently to be able to do so.
You in the sleek ones, the shiny ones?
She mean ours, meaning the 588
The women's.
planes, are not in a position to be able to do so. I can speak with the fighter regimen, the men's fighter regimen, and see what can be done. But
They knew we were coming.
We knew that
I know. But how... Oh.
some things are more important.
sacrifices have to be made sometimes to accomplish these missions. You all swore an oath, the same as me, same as everyone else here in this regiment, that if the Red Army required anything from you, including your life or your blood, that we would all willingly give it. And it is unfortunate that we have to make that sacrifice sometimes, but we will remember those who do, and the fight will continue. It is my mission to make sure that not a German soldier steps foot any further in this land, so long as I draw breath and can fly one of these planes. Good job this
I
evening.
have it written down right here.
But probably time to head to your racks and get some sleep. There's more missions to fly once the sun goes back down. As the sun is rising on the horizon and light beginning to shine through the through the flaps of the tent.
Everyone gets to take an advancement.
Yeah, so everyone, this completing this mission gives you an advancement. So on the backside, you can check whichever one of those you want.
And I'm going to increase in rank.
Promotion. So you are now a senior lieutenant, correct?
Lieutenant.
Oh, you're a lieutenant.
Plain old lieutenant.
I'll go ahead and go with the forbidden love. Maybe this made me think that life's kind of short, and maybe I should get some of my kicks before I go down with the plane.
Fair enough. It makes sense.
Oh, but
it
you
makes
don't
sense.
for dying.
So who? Okay, so you guys go. Imagine head back and sleep for a couple hours, right?
Thanks for listening. This has been an episode of Just One More Fix. Music has been provided by Kevin MacLeod. You can find him at incompetech.com. You can support us at patreon.com/JustOneMoreFix or follow us on Twitter at JustOneMoreFix.